I know a guy really well in the oil business, and a lot of his business are is referrals. And one of the things that he says is he called them joint ventures, and he goes, joint ventures don't work. You have to work them.
Mhm.
So exactly what Chuck just said is how you work a joint venture. You have to work it. Joint ventures don't work. They absolutely do not work. You have to, because most people think that they do. They go, "Oh, I signed the deal with this." Like imagine if you got a deal with this company. Almost all joint ventures stop right there. They never go any further. You never get any business, and you never understand why. Is because they don't know what to do. Chuck's exactly right.
Mhm.
Having conversations with thousands and thousands of potential referrers, joint venture partners, you realize, yeah, you really need to take the lead. You need to ask things like what Chuck did. Well, and they go, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Go, well, who comes to mind?
Mhm.
Anybody, who comes to mind? It's not like does anybody, because that's a closed-ended question, right? That's yes or no. You ask an open-ended question like who, who comes to mind?
Mhm.
Who do you know that da 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 da?
Mhm.
And so it's opens their mind rather than closes their mind into because they're all going to go, I don't know of anybody right now. Because this is how brains work,
That's what
right?
they're
It's just
wired.
like, that's too much work right now. So you want to pursue the question, or you want to pursue opening their mind to what you can get right now.
Right.
Because tomorrow doesn't necessarily exist, and yeah, maybe you'll get a referral from them someday, but you want to start working, you want to ask them, you want to first get they're open to doing this with you. And then you want to go, well, who comes to mind? How do we start? What's the first thing we can do? Make it easy on them too. Make it super easy on them. You need to take on the work, not
Not them.
assume they're going to do it because they will
Right.
not.
That's not their job, dude. It's
Right.
yours.
Right.
It's
Right.
your
And
job.
nobody on this side of it understands that. They all think
Right.
that, oh, they're going to go to work for you and do all these. They don't.
Right.
Almost never do they do that.
No.
Right. So for like in this deal, there's a number of service providers that we've talked to over time who have access to these biotech companies, and during conversation, just as a result of interacting with them, they're like, we see companies all the time that would be great fits for you guys. Um, but
Really?
then it kind of stops at that. How would you go about
Like
following
who?
up with them and pushing them towards,
Yeah,
is it
like
exactly
who?
that? Just like,
Like
hey,
who?
who do you know right now? Just doing
Well,
that.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say who do you know right now. I would
Yeah.
say, like Chuck said, who?
Oh, really? Who? Like who? Oh, you're kidding. Oh, okay. Well, you know what I could do is, why don't I do this? Why don't I reach out to them and let them know that you were thinking about them and
Hmm.
you were concerned and you saw a need that they had that you thought I could fulfill. I mean, this is a language you got to use in that kind of
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
right? It's got to
Right.
be kind of, it's got to, because it has to be that way.
But you see, Chuck's language. Let's talk about language real quick.
Hmm.
Chuck's using, like he said, oh, you have to use some of this language, right? But you can still see that he's being he's not being aggressive. He's being aggressive in a casual, sort of low key way, right? And
Right.
he's using some words that are um, like a corporate but a lot of it's not. It's soft, but it's assertive, right?
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that yeah, that's a big deal. Soft and assertive. It's but yeah, you're using words that get you where you want to go. Hey, who do you know? Oh, really? Who? Okay, well, why don't we do this? So it's not just who, and then once you find out who, you go, oh, well, why don't we do this?
Mhm.
So you find broad, I'm open to it. Who do
Hmm.
you know? And then and then the next step. And because if imagine if you don't do those, one if you just go, oh, hey, it's good, let's do this, and you don't do anything.
Right.
Now you've got to now you've got to track him down again.
Right.
And it's like, oh God, now we've got to chase this guy. I should have,
Hmm.
you can should all over yourself, or you can go, oh, who, and then what's the next? Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. You know what? Why don't we do this?
Hmm.
That kind of turn.
And
Right.
doesn't that feel a lot more efficient?
Hmm.
Like, because it's all
Well,
about efficiencies, right? Like if I didn't ask the guy, now I got to track him down. He's on
Yeah.
vacation, he's busy. It's like, man, it's almost like we're our own worst enemy sometimes, and it. I always say it's the right mindset, right? It's like I want to win, you know,
Mhm.
and it's not a win or lose thing necessarily, but I want to accomplish. I want to be good at this. I want to bring value to the people that I'm working with or for, you know, so I have to do these things because that's the only way I can bring this to them is I have to be on my game. They elected me to do that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you know what and there we'll tie that back to freedom, right? It's like, okay, feeling free, it feels, does it if you're bringing value and feeling like you're doing the right steps along the way, it's a good feel. You feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You feel good about, and I'll throw that into that's one of the freedom feelings, right? And to have a free sort of existence, that's what you need to do. You really do need to work on your game. When you're good at your game, it's much easier to be free. And
Yes.
it's and the feeling of freedom, right? Because freedom isn't just necessarily, I made a bunch of money and I retired. Well, okay, now what are you going to do?
Right.
What? So that's not necessarily, it's like living, you can start right now. And whatever you do, it's like, all right, how can I do this to feel the most free?
Mhm.
It's a lot of work sometimes living free. But you get to live that way rather than having to do the things that most other people do that they really don't like. So part of the game of creating freedom is is just doing this. It's like, okay, it's just being good at your game and providing the right thing, right? You want to be able to, part of the good feeling in your heart is consulting in the right sort of way,
Mhm.
leading people in the right sort of way, what's right for them, even if they don't even understand it, you know, and a lot of them won't. So when you do this in the right way, you're also a good model. Maybe they'll go, wow, that was really easy. It probably will never occur to them to do the same thing themselves, but they'll appreciate that you did it, and you did it in a way that made them feel good about it.
Mhm.
It's like being prepared, you know, preparedness meaning opportunity equals success. I know we've said that a few times, you know, kind of fun around here, but um, you know, it's like watching somebody who's really good at playing golf. It looks so effortless.
Mhm.
And then you watch other people go out and struggle. See, me, that struggle's not really that kind of struggle. It doesn't feel good to me. The kind of struggle that, you know, maybe I got to deal with wind on my tee shot or, you know, I got a fast green or something. That's part of the game. That's part of it. But the struggle, yeah, it doesn't have to be that. That's that whole freedom thing in life that you can go,
Mhm.
it's work. And I think everybody should work, right? We all should have a goal and work. And that's part of just being a human being. But work smart, not hard. I mean, these things have been around for
Yeah.
that saying's been around for I don't know, since people could start talking.